Welcome to 4C's1 Family, where we share thoughts and opinions concerning life in Taiwan, the region, and the world. I'm your host, James Thomas, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan, and I'm so glad to have you traveling along with me on this journey, and welcome to the show. Wow, already started, I got a thumbs down. Wow, that hurts. Ooh, that hurts. Ooh, that hurts bad. Well, this is going to be a little short one for Sunday, usually I'll just try to take it easy on Sunday, maybe take a walk or something like that. And this is going to be, I'm going to also do same version of this in the Mandarin channel, but I'm going to talk a little bit about something I've read recently, and especially after the comment. I got an email a couple of weeks ago. Well, not a couple of weeks ago. I'm talking about a week ago from a YouTuber. Pretty well-known YouTuber. I told him I was going to mention it, and talking about some of the comments I made here, and some of it was really good. Some of it was a little controversial. That's cool. And I offered, and I said, we should get together and talk about this and bring our dates and historical references to the table, and it's a good way to learn from one another, right? And not in a combative way or anything like that, right? It would be cool just to talk about some of the things I mentioned in some of my inquiries here on this little tiny channel. But it'll be something good to talk about, especially regarding to history, okay? And especially about this region. And we mentioned, we talked about a book, and the English is called Red Roulette, and Mandarin Chinese is called 红丝论盘. And it's written by someone by the name of Desmond Sun, and the Chinese name is Sun Dong. Yeah, that's a point, right? It could be Shen, Shun Dong, I think, yeah. It's called Red Roulette. It's quite an interesting book. And basically talks about his experience. It's a little hum here in this audio. His experience in working in China, but he had to leave under some very nefarious reasons. He got married there, had a kid, and had to actually run out because of legal issues. But if you can, it helps give a peek to those who probably hear about events happening in China or in the region, and they hear it from third hand, second hand, fourth hand type of, connections. But it'd be interesting to read this book called Red Roulette and see how Desmond Sun Dong, yeah, that's his name, 红丝论盘, that's what it's called in Mandarin. I hope I'm right. And see how people on the other side of the Great Wall see people, especially from democratic nations, especially those nations like, the United States and Britain and Australia and stuff like that. Because we always hear stories in the West about, people have to use VPN to get over the Great Wall. Wouldn't it be nice that people on the other side of the Great Wall, so-called democratic nations and whatever, or nations that claim they're democratic, that they can flip into the realm of the Great Wall, right? Barring language issues aside, but I think that would be a great experience, And, maybe it can help a lot of people understand why people think the way they do, why they carry certain apprehensions, especially why some of their comments are being blocked and stuff like that. Maybe you can put a little bit more reasoning onto it. I don't want to talk too much about it because, I just want to take a little coffee break now. Over the years, especially talking to people here on this YouTube, I learned that I can't overreact, right? Because most people only see things from their perspective at the time of their comment. And that's right. That's like the thumb down here. I think YouTube stops showing us these negative contents. If someone give you a thumb down, supposed to hurt content is self-esteem. If you're afraid to have your self-esteem hurt, you shouldn't be out on this platform. But there are many people who just give you a thumb down, excuse me, because they are unable to bring issues in front to talk about clearly in a mature manner. But that's okay. You know, I get comments from many people who like have no experience living abroad or military experience or even law enforcement experience. And I bring that into the issue because when you see how conflict could in the end manifest itself, you think differently about trying to stick your chest out and being the number one on the block. And that's interesting. And by the way, after this after this comment, I'm going to put a link down into my SpeakPipe page where you can send me a voice comment. So the guy who send me or female, whatever, send me the thumbs down. You can send me an audio message to tell me how you feel. 等一下在下面我会放一个连接，对不对？你可以放你的留言哈，你可以留言给我，对不对？不要骂我好不好？就送给我就好了。然后可能在未来的节目我可以播放，好不好？对不对？Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. No, you could do it. I mean, it's just that's a message. Nevertheless, and I think it's important. And because I've seen both sides of what violence can really lead to, especially when people get on this YouTube and talk a bunch of crap. And when you see that, you clearly understand, that what is taking place in the world is just not a damn movie. But like the title said, I think it would be quite fascinating to have people from the outside flip over into the Great Wall. Then maybe people in the West can also learn how to take off their blinders. Those blinders come in different shapes and forms, right? ABC, CBS, NBC, CNBC, CNN, that's right. And maybe you can see it from a different way and also cherish the freedoms that they have. And in the long run, finally learn how their divisiveness on their side of the wall is causing them a lot of headache, and in the long term may lead to their total demise. That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. Sometimes you can learn a lot about yourself by observing a viewpoint from people you see or people who you perceive at a certain time to be your opponent or downright enemy. You can learn a lot about that. I mean, Chen Shihan, Genghis Khan learned a lot about that. In war, he even made a few people who attacked him. There's a great story of an enemy arrowman who shot an arrow from very far distance and hit Genghis Khan, Chen Shihan, in the shoulder. And he was caught. And Genghis Khan said, "Hey, were you the one who hit me with the arrow?" And the man stood up and said, he was very proud as a warrior. He said, "Yes, it was me." And he admired that. And it turned out that this individual came out to be one of his later, he incorporated him into his arms, his armory, his force. Isn't that weird? Take an enemy and it becomes actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he became second of command, one of his honored guards, in fact. If I'm not mistaken, he carried on a bit after Genghis Khan died, after a bit. Oh, I better look that up. I gotta look at my books. But it would be great to see for some of those people who talk so blatantly brave about people they perceive as their enemies, especially in China. It'd be great for them to see that the people who they think perceive them as enemies are just like them in some ways, and also carry some of the same ignorance. And that's quite unfortunate, but it is true because I've seen both sides from people that if you see them, you actually find out that very much the same. So I just think that would be quite interesting. You know, it just be interesting. But I think it would be a good idea that this will allow people to see how, you know, blocking the free flow of information, you know, keeps people, or people who are being, you know, locked away from the free flow of information. It only causes people to be locked into a particular point of view that isn't inclusive. Now, I use the word inclusive because this is what I see is happening in many Western nations, especially the particular nation I'm from. And this class separatism, tribalism, some people call it, cause people to, especially Western nations that in some ways are imploding, to become armchair warriors and just complain, but make no attempt to clear things up or to discuss things in the normal, how would you say, in a fashion that just talks about facts and solutions. This is the rough thing. This is the rough thing. Maybe this will help people on both sides to understand how they are being programmed. And they can deprogram themselves, right? Maybe this would, in some ways, force people to see that there are people who promote poisonous, destructive narratives, just like a drug from a pusher, that cause people to, how would you say, not tolerate any opinions, thoughts of any kind. Once you become clear and aware of that, maybe it'll help you avoid some of these type of individuals. Some cases there are these, how would you say, useful type of idiots to those who just want to propagate certain negative narratives. 无用骗子. Some people call them shills, or as the Russians, KGB, call them useful idiots from many documentations. This is quite interesting to me, though. Now, once again, you know, if you do have opportunity, you're interested in what's happening in recent China, at least in the realm of business, communications, take a look at Desmond Shun's book, Red Roulette, 红色轮盘, right? And I think it'll help give you a peek into what's happening on the other side of the Great Wall, but also understand the narratives, the limits some people are willing to pass to get certain things done. And think about how this may relate to you, even though it may not affect you currently, but how can it affect you later when people have such focused goals, long-term strategies? Well, just take a look at the book. So I just want to jump in there and mention that. And yeah, should have just took me about 10 minutes, but I just want to mention that. Good book. And I think I'm going to go back over that book again. And if I have any more comments, you know, I'll jump in here. Look, guys, just jump in here real quick. I just want to say, take care, enjoy your weekend, and leave a comment below if you would like to. So take care and 保重. Peace.